Hello, and welcome to another episode of Intune.training, the place to learn how to use Microsoft Intune. The Steve and Adam Show with Ben the Intern. So, boys.
Hey. That was a lovely intro, Adam.
Fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Maybe we should set it to music someday, Ben. Do you know a guy who can play some decent music?
No, I don't.
Well, hey, if you're looking for a gig on writing an intro song that's better than my intro, let me know. Or if you just want to like remix my intros into a theme song, we would totally use that, and I'd pay you like $1 at least.
Or a
so, or these guys can pay you in dollary dues, and that works as well.
It's not worth anyway.
Yeah, the exchange rate's not going to help you.
So they'll send you a quarter each, and that'll maybe buy you a Coke back in 1990.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get down to it. We're going to talk about Android things.
Android.
Yes. Oh, is Leon back?
No, no Leon.
It's Steve.
So one of the cool things that we've found over the last couple of weeks is this awesome blog post from Vikash. Obviously, we're going to put this into the description underneath this, but I thought this was something that was well worth talking through and explaining how it all works. So it's going through and setting up an Android emulator for testing Intune features. And this goes through the whole process of installing it and configuring it and how to get the link. So developer, Android.com, Studio, and it'll give you the ability to download it. It's all free and it just works on your computer. Here's some settings where you need to make sure you turn off these features. In my experience, I didn't need to, but I did get an error message while installing it. But it
so I just went through this because I was going to drive this thing, and I saw that I needed to disable a bunch of the stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I went through the install. I did get an error, but Steve has promised me that the error means nothing.
I wonder if you could spin up a Hyper-V VM and then install this in there. Yes. Then run your VMs inside of a VM.
Potentially.
On nested hypervisor, yes, you could.
Cool.
But one of the main reasons why you want to run it on your physical device is, I think Vikash covers it in here, when we go and create the device, we have the ability, if you've got a cellular device connected on your physical device.
Oh, you can do pass-through.
Through your mobile phone number through to the virtual device.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you can sit there and replicate that scenario and replicate everything associated around it. You can go and set proxies, you can set everything up. So rather than just sitting there and going through the blog, we've already gone and installed it on our test device here. And this is the Android Studio. So one thing I'm going to note based on our previous blog series, we've gone in previously and disabled the ability to add personal devices. So I've gone back in here and, under block personal, and I have enabled the ability to enroll Android for work.
Just so that we can play around with this, yeah.
And Steve, I'm going to have to ask you to zoom your whole desktop in when you're doing it.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right. So over here, we have Android Studio, and there is no zoom on this, unfortunately, Adam.
That's what I meant. You have to zoom your whole desktop is what.
You see if I can do that.
A magnifying glass?
It's like this is your first time doing this.
Well, it is. In a long while.
Like sharing your screen?
So while Steve figures out how to make his screen larger, I think when we had Leon on last time, we were actually toying around with the idea of using Android Studio to do some demos. But we were having some problems with it, or I don't know, there was some weird stuff. So this is a continuation on. So if you've watched the video that we've done with Leon, jump straight onto this and then use that to demo, basically. Exactly. I think is the goal, yeah?
Yep. So here we've got the startup. Welcome to Android Studio, and I'm hoping it's zoomed in enough for Adam now.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's for the viewers, Steve.
The viewers are important. I can see it from here.
I'll let you respond to all the comments about it's too small and too blurry and all that stuff this time. So, come on, Steve, get it together. Let's go.
What we're going to do here is we're going to select configure, and then we're going to go to AVD Manager. So this is the Android Virtual Device Manager. We're going to select on that, and it's going to pop up on my other screen because it's awesome. I decided to do a little bit of playing earlier, and I've added my very first Android TV. So you can spin up your own Android TV. But if we go create virtual device, we have the options down here. We can even go and create an Android automotive
that's
device.
awesome.
Right? But the caveat is you don't have the ability to install the company portal on there. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, right.
So now if we go here and we're going to select Pixel 3, so you'll see that there's all the Google devices exist in the list, but there's no Pixel 4 yet. And I would assume that you can go and create profiles for Samsung and associated devices. But this is purely for Google's version of the OS. So I've already downloaded a profile for the Pixel 3, so I'm just going to use that. And you see here, you have the ability to select all the different versions and the API version level of the image. So we've got, I'm using R, but then there's all of the previous versions to that. So if you're needing to test this for appliances that are older OS versions, you have the ability to test that. You can also go to other images and see all the different versions that exist, all the way back to Don't use them.
I've never looked at any of this before, but it appears that they went from having cool dessert flavored names to just letters.
Yes. They made that decision a little while ago.
Did they feel like it was contributing to childhood obesity or what?
No, they didn't. Okay, so this is actually an interesting little trivia thing. It got to a point where the desserts that they were using were not globally recognized, so they decided to standardize it to include to be more inclusive, basically.
I see.
Yeah. But like the Oreo one, they had to pay rights for that. Oreo's not a.
I was wondering about that. Like it wasn't chocolate.
That's owned by Nabisco. Yeah, they needed to pay serious money for that.
So
All right. So you'll see over here. This explains all of the detail about that image, and that you download. When you download it, it goes and downloads it from Google. That's the cool part about it. So it's not some random version that you've gotten off the internet that you've gone and found on a Where site or wherever that you previously have to do this sort of stuff. So we go next and we can select, give it a name. So this is the Intune Training Pixel 3. And we can specify if we're wanting to change any part of that device. Startup orientation, graphics, we can normally set a limitation on that. And we can put if we're going to have the frame or not. And that's so you just get really rich screen captures and things like that. So we're just going to hit finish on that. And this will start up the device when we hit the play button here. And it's going to launch the emulator, so it allows us to actually see the phone pop up on the other screen, because
this is
awesome.
So cool.
And then we hit the power button, and that should then start up and pop into Google. And I'll go through that out-of-box experience of how we set up the phone for the first time, because it's the first time the operating system's running. You have the ability here to do your screenshots, so you get those really high-fidelity images without having to have a cable plugged in, HDMI card, or anything like that.
Yeah, so this will be really good for documentation as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Cool.
So it's going through the startup, and once it starts up, we'll see they're all joined to the Wi-Fi, which is actually the network that we're on. It actually didn't go through the out-of-box experience as we'd expect, but this is part of that whole emulation component. There are things you can do around that. So here are the extended controls where we can go in and change settings and do some cool stuff. We can explicitly set the location where we think we are. Right now, it thinks we're at the Google campus.
Yeah.
Which we're not. We're
because it doesn't have native access to the GPS telemetry.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So the location services aren't available.
Okay.
But then we can go and look at the information about the screen. You can set a secondary device if you're wanting to do that. Start playing around with the cellular and actually replicate, I've got a poor service or great service. So it gives you that all of the different scenarios. So if you're wanting to test a device that's roaming on the company portal, what's going to happen? We can replicate the battery sitting at 12%, and it will show on the device what's actually happened. Has it gone into battery saver mode? What happens to the company portal in that state? Is the charger connected? Yes, no. So I think this is actually...
Steve, I don't think that's very realistic. Can you change it to like 1%, please?
Well, of course.
Put it into battery saver mode.
I mean, if the internet has taught me one thing based on screenshots that people have of their phones, it's always that everyone lives on the edge, and like 1 or 2% is max battery life on anyone's phone at any given time.
Uh-huh.
And obviously the battery's dead. So when we go and look at it, and here's where we can pull down that setting and we can see all of the information around it. So it works exactly the same as you would expect on a normal device. We can go here and change this to charging, and what should then happen is AC charger.
Yep.
That whole battery setting disappears.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's very slick.
Just while Steve's looking at that, I just wanted to let everyone know. So the error that I got that Steve said don't even worry about, I've just spun up an Android TV emulator and it's working fine. So the primary thing that the error is stating is that if you don't disable Hyper-V, it throws this error that Hyper-V is taking explicit or implicit control over the VTX or the virtualization of your device. So I assume it thinks that it can't access it seamlessly, but it very much can, so you can ignore that.
Yep. And you can even go in here under the additional sensors and change the temperature of the device and go, it's sitting at 100 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
So the phone should sit there and go, hang on, I'm too hot. I'm going to go into thermal shutdown. This is,
That's crazy.
I mean, it's a shame that it's only a virtual device. It'd be great if they made like a portable version of these things. This would be neat.
Yeah.
Called a laptop.
It's called buying a new phone.
No, I mean a thing that you could touch the screen and actually do instead of using your mouse, and that'd be nice.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
You guys.
So then
Steve,
obviously you can sit here and do snapshots to say, well, this is where it's up to. Where is what do I want to do? How do I go back to previous scenarios? You can turn off the auto state, record it, so you can sit there and actually, if you have a workflow that you're wanting to test out, you can go and create a macro that'll automatically go and use it for the test process. But anyway, let's go and quickly install the Play Store because we want to show that we have the ability to do to actually use the company portal on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this off onto another screen while I sign in with my Google account.
Wait, you don't want to show us your email address and password?
It's just Big Hosco at Gmail, probably.
Well, yeah.
Sorry if that was actually somebody's email address. Don't type it in. I don't know.
Big Dog 420. This is making me very excited for my new Chromecast purchase.
And I'll agree to use the Play Store. So this is going to go through and set up that, and you'll see my email address there. Awesome. That's okay. Not my password, which is the important part, because that's one of the great things. But anyway, we're going to go here. We're going to go to the company store. And one of the nice parts about it is you can just type in your normal keyboard and it goes through to the phone. So awesome. You don't have to sit there and hit the keys on the keyboard as you normally would. So we're going to quickly install the company Intune company portal. And as we said earlier, if we wanted to do a recording of how this process works to be able to give that to a customer, we have the ability to go in here, start a recording, and we'll go through that whole process.
I would also like to make note that if this is rated for children ages 3 and up, so it's good to know. Child friendly.
And you'll see that it'll put it. You can even do it as a GIF.
Oh wow!
Well, you can get a GIF of the software center, but not in the software center.
Yep.
Keep fighting the good fight, Adam.
Yeah. Keep that fight.
Did someone say GIF? It must be in Software Center.
As we can see here, we have the ability to set our proxies, and we can do advanced settings as required. So if you want to do some crazy stuff with UI and graphics.
Actually, just a side note, I tweeted about this a couple weeks ago. We figured out that you can you could paste markdown in the application descriptions in Intune, which means you could post a embedded GIF markdown tag in the description of an app. And so we technically got GIFs working in the company portal. It's kind of cool.
It is. It's
very exciting. That kind of thing. So, I mean, honestly, the use case of that would be really cool if you recorded a how-to video or something of just watch how this works. And it's like got the configuration of setting up the app, and you just put that in the metadata of the description. That'd be really cool.
Especially if you had customized solutions. I definitely see value in that. It's something I do with the modules that I create. I'll animate or I'll record how they're used. So GIFs everywhere. It's very important.
GIFs for
and
everyone.
if nothing else, at least ASCII art in your thing.
Well, of course.
Oh, does this mean that I can use a virtual device as my second authenticator solution?
Ooh, I think so. That would be cool.
Okay. All right. I'm excited now. I mean, I was excited before, but I'm more excited now. I want to make a more complicated way for me to authenticate to things.
Hey, by the way,
so here, this is setting up work profile.
Yeah, cool.
So the other thing, so I noticed the menu bar on company portal is red.
Yes.
It was as we've gone through it, so it'll show back. But we kind of glazed over in our video a couple weeks ago, Ben and I, when we talked about customizing the company portal and all that sort of stuff. There is a ton of functionality in there for Android and iOS devices that we did not cover. And I think that now that we have a way to be able to use that, this would be really cool to go back through that and investigate. And in fact, if you check the description, I don't remember what the details were, but one of the folks gave us some details on why that was a good place to do some extra things on Android and iOS. So anyway, sorry, I don't know the details, but go check out the other video there.
It's all good. But you'll see here, we don't have any apps set up in our work profile once we get in there. So it's going to go through that whole process. Let me just drag that off the screen so you don't see my password. I do like the fact that for demos and things like that, we can hide that screen really easily.
It's good.
Yeah, thank you for not making me edit this, because I probably would have missed it.
Not a problem, sir.
We haven't finished yet.
Well, it's Steve driving, not you, so it's all right.
So you'll see here now it's saying the device is all registered, set up, and working. And we've got the Android for Work device there, all of the information around it. You can see that it's personal, which is why it's set up for Android for Work. If we go home, you'll see that we have the ability to close out stuff here, which is awesome. And let's just hit that button and drag it up. And now we have the ability to see work. So by default, we only have those apps, but we can go into the Play Store and let's see if we've got anything actually being made available, which is nothing. Let's see if we can go and install Outlook. Probably not, because we haven't made it available. But you can see anything that's required, we can go and install if we need to. And we just go close that out. And probably the last thing that I'll show, because it's going to be super important when you're using this to test out conditional access rules and things like that, is biometrics. I can't remember where it's located. Do you remember where the fingerprint stuff for authentication has been?
Security.
Security,
You had the word right there, fingerprint.
Yep.
Fingerprint.
So we go fingerprint here. We're going to fingerprint plus pin.
You're just gonna I think you just put your thumb up on the screen and it'll read your
Like this?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep. So we hit that and we confirm it. Yep. Show notification. Yeah, cool. So now we're going to go here and hit unlock with fingerprint. And we go over here and we go touch sensor. And we keep touching sensor. And there we go. We have a fingerprint added.
Oh, cool. So it's just like a generic random.
Yep. So
That's
now
cool.
if we turn it off and then turn it back on, we go up. Oh, we need to hit the sensor. And
Okay.
how cool is that?
That's very cool. I'm enjoying this quite a lot.
So it's a full rich client. It gives you the ability to do most things that you'll need to demo for conditional access for Intune and everything associated. I think this is just one of the best hidden features that's there.
I mean, this is really amazing because it was free, super easy to download and get configured and set up. I say super easy. I mean, I didn't do it, but
I've just
you opened it up and
TV
you built
and a phone while we've been doing this, and it's like, yeah, it's so easy. I'm installing apps on my TV right now.
While using the app, we've got our maps, and you can see this is where we are geographically. It's saying that we're in the Googleplex.
Yeah, right.
But if we want to go here, and all right, well, actually, we're not in the Googleplex. We are over here in Sydney. Sure, that'll do. Whatever.
I love Beaumont Hills. It's the best.
Yep. And set location. It now goes and changes our location to Beaumont Hills.
That's cool.
Well, the zoom in doesn't work all that well, but you get the point. You have the ability now where you can go and see that information. So that, yeah, this is where you can then go, well, I've got a route and this is where it's going to be, and do your playbacks. And so I think this is going to be super easy and super useful for a lot of people when testing Android policies, because you can sit there and say, geographically, you've got access in this location. The only thing that I'd be interested to know, and obviously I'm not going to go and test it now because let's not spend the whole time doing it, is if it comes back as a rooted device.
Oh yeah, it probably won't by default, because it's not really designed for like side loading or anything like that. It should just be a full vanilla version of Android, which is locked down.
Yep. But yeah, so I think that's probably all that we're going to go over in the session. But I thought that would be useful for other people to see that.
Yeah, I think this will be good moving forward when we do any more mobile management stuff, especially focused around Android. We'll obviously be able to show off more of what we're doing, which is going to be great. Do you know whether there's something similar or as good for iPhone emulation?
I haven't been able to find anything, but I'll keep looking.
If anyone
knows, by the way, it's in our portal already, and it shows it's compliant.
Wow, really?
US. Yeah, it's a SDK phone x86 is the model, so it at least tells you it's an emulator. Android. Watch out, it's going to show your phone number on there. Don't click it.
It is?
If you click the details on it, I was just saving us an edit. It shows the last 4.
Oh, no, that's not my phone number.
Okay, well, hey, whatever. I was just giving it a shot. I was trying to help.
So what you'll see here is the 2 devices, because I added one earlier just for testing.
Yep.
That's really cool. This one here. It provides all the information around it. So if we go to device compliance, well, it's not compliant because there's no policy assigned.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go hardware, it should say if it's rooted or not, I believe. No. What's encrypted?
Yeah, encrypted by default.
Yeah. And we're on T-Mobile.
Sure.
Don't know. It'd be something to investigate. Obviously, not something we're going to go through today, but yeah. And this is where you can go and change that to corporate owned. When you change to corporate owned, you can do additional components and stuff on it.
Yeah, nice.
But right now we can go here, we can go delete or remove that profile. But yeah, cool.
Very cool. Well done, Steve. Thank you.
Good work.
Not a problem at all.
Stay tuned for more coolness.
Stay tuned.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.